Maybe you heard the story about the woman who sadly made her transition and found herself at the pearly gates of heaven. And of course, there to greet her at the pearly gates of heaven was St. Peter. And he said, "My dear, my sister, I'm happy to see you here. And I have one question for you in order for you to enter these gates of heaven." He said, "I have a word for you to spell." Well, that immediately frightened her because she was not a particularly good speller. But then he told her the word was love. Well, of course, she could spell love, and right in, he ushered her. And my goodness, but heaven was just as glorious as she could ever have imagined. And she found herself healed and at peace, and all was well. And she'd been there for about 4 months in earth time when one day St. Peter said to her, "Would you mind watching the gate for me? I've just got to take a little break. Would you mind just standing guard here at the gate?" And she said, "No, I'd be happy to do that." So off St. Peter went, and surprise, her husband, whom she'd left behind 4 months ago, showed up at the gate. And she was so happy to see him. She'd missed him, as you can imagine. And so it is that she said, "How have you been, honey? I've missed you so much." And he said, "Oh, you know, I was very sad at first after you passed, but really things have just been wonderful. You see, not long after you left, I met a fabulous woman, 20 years younger than me, and oh, so beautiful. We've been traveling the world together. These last 3 months have just been some of the very best of my life." And she said, "Oh, how lovely." To which he said, "So how do I get through the gate?" And she said, "Oh, it's very simple, honey. You just have to spell a word. Czechoslovakia." Okay, props to anybody that can spell Czechoslovakia, because I realized I couldn't. I tried and I couldn't. So anyway, yes, so we are in week 2 of a series called Keys to the Kingdom. And there is no pearly gate that you have to get through in order to experience the kingdom of heaven right here and right now. And you don't have to spell any complicated words in order to experience the kingdom of heaven right here, right now. This series is all about the abundant life. The abundant life. What does the abundant life mean to you? And we're exploring that over the next 6 weeks together. And each week we're speaking about a particular key to the abundant life. You see, this series was created by David Owen Ritz. And he says there are 7 keys, if you will, to the kingdom of heaven. So let me just recap for you a little bit about last week and the key that we used to begin it all with. And that first key is about commitment. About commitment. It's really about commitment to putting God first. Putting God first in all of your affairs in your life. And you know, there's a formula. Last week we talked about a formula for the abundant life. And what we said is that there's really 3 components of the abundant life, and it's all about giving, because as you give, then you receive, and giving to God. So the formula for the abundant life is that giving of your time plus giving of your talent plus giving of your treasure equals the abundant life. And giving of your time, that's giving of the time you spend in spiritual practice to God. You're putting God first with your time. You're spending your daily moments with God in prayer and meditation and study and reflection. That's giving of your time and putting God first in your time. Putting it in your calendar so it's first. And then giving of your talent, that's about your service to humankind, volunteering, how it is that you share yourself such that you touch others' lives, because you know what happens when you give of your time. When you are in service to someone else, it lifts you, it fills you. And so you step more fully into the abundant life. So the abundant life is giving of your time to God in prayer and meditation. It's giving of your time to God through your service to humankind. And then it's giving of your finances or your material wealth, your treasure. Because as you give, you step into the flow. And so it's giving to your sources of spiritual food, whether that be Unity Church of Overland Park, whether that be other organizations or individuals that nourish you spiritually. So giving in those 3 arenas of your time, your talent, your treasure equals the abundant life. And what I invited you to do last week is to make a commitment. in one or all three of those areas. To stretch yourself in some way such that you are willing for the next 6 weeks to make a commitment. Maybe it's that instead that you're going to meditate for 10 extra minutes a day. That would be a stretch, and make the commitment and hold to it. Maybe it's that you will add a particular area of volunteer service to your life. You can certainly do that here if you wish. Julie Randolph would be happy to help you find an area that will serve you as you are serving others. And maybe your commitment is in the area of your finances, that over the next 6 weeks you step into intentional giving. Intentional giving where you decide ahead of time a percentage or an amount that you would like to give to your source of spiritual food on a regular, committed basis. So we're all kind of experimenting, and what I want you to know is there's never been a better time to make a commitment such as this, because you're doing it alongside all these other wonderful people who are here with you. We have in this room with us today what we call a resonance core, or a resonant group, a resonance core group, because everybody's in aligned. We're all seeking to experience the abundant life right here and right now. So people right beside you are stepping into commitment just as you are, and there's strength when that happens. We all are stronger because those next to us are also making that commitment. So that's where we were last week. The first key to this kingdom of abundant life is the key of commitment. Commitment stretches you and it strengthens you. You stand taller and you can accomplish more as you make commitment in your life. And each commitment that you make makes the next commitment more easy to fulfill. All right, so that was last week. Today we're talking about vision. We're talking about vision. How big is your vision, right? Did you ever talk to your kids and say, I love you so much? You stretch your arms like this. So how big is your vision, right? We want to dream and vision big. Because as we dream and vision big, we open up our life to receive, and we open our consciousness. And as you vision and dream big, then you call into you things and experiences and people that are a vibrational match for your vision. David Owen Ritz says this about vision. He says, the kingdom of God, the field of infinite possibilities in which you live, has already been given to you. The kingdom of God has already been given to you, he says. However, you alone choose which and how much of those magnificent possibilities you allow into your life. You see, as you choose your vision, as you define your vision, you're defining a container for your life. And so you want to stretch that vision as broadly as you can. He says, your vision is like a blueprint that you draft for spirit. It's your way of saying, this is what I can accept, what I'm comfortable with, and what I want. If your vision for your life is broad and expansive, you invite into your life great new possibilities. If it is small or underdeveloped, you severely limit the good that is available to you. So how big is your vision? I remember one time this beautiful meditation CD by Louise Hay. And in it, she talked about going up to the ocean and imagining that the vastness of the ocean in front of you was God, and that you could take as much of God with you as you could carry. And then she led a visualization on that, and then she asked the question, so what vessel did you take? What container did you hold as you scooped up this ocean? Was it a juice glass? Was it a bucket? Was it a wash tub on wheels that you could roll with you? You see, God is an infinite God. And the infinity of God is available to us in every moment. And so today we're talking about expanding your vision to take in this infinity of God and bring forward in your life the abundant life. You know, in the book of Genesis, chapter 13, God asked Abram to vision really big. God was promising to Abram the promised land. And what he said to him was, He said, basically, you can have all the land that you can see. He said, raise your eyes now and look from the place where you are, northwards and southwards, eastwards and westwards. For all the land that you see, I will give to you and your offspring forever. All the land that you see, I will give to you and your offspring forever. And then he goes on to say, rise up, walk through the length and the breadth of the land, for I will give it to you. Walk through the length and the breadth of the land, for I will give it to you. All that you can see. And he was speaking to Abram, saying, literally, all that you can see with your human eyes, as far and wide as you can see, I'm going to give that to you. And metaphorically, what God is also saying is that all that you can see with your inner eye, that God will give that to us as well. How big is your vision? And have you stifled it in one way or another? You know, sometimes fear and doubt and limited thinking and all manner of blocks get in the way, and they become like a wall around our vision, and we can't see on the other side of the wall. But I'm inviting you today to push through that wall. Whatever that wall of limitation has been for you, to push through it. You know, you think of Abram there looking off into the distance. Now, I see that he can see clear and far and wide, but sometimes when we're looking at our vision, we see clouds, right? And we see storms, and we can't see past them. Today, I'm inviting you to push through those clouds, push through those storms, and see beyond. There came a time in the history of the children of Israel as they were moving on toward the promised land. They'd actually made it to the promised land once, and then they'd been exiled, and they were in exile at the moment that God spoke to the prophet Jeremiah. And that's how God spoke to the people back then, through prophets. And here's what God said to Jeremiah to give to the people this message. For surely I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. Plans for your welfare and not for harm, to give you a future with hope. Then when you call upon me and come and pray to me, I will hear you. When you search for me, you will find me, if you seek me with all your heart. If you search for me, when you search for me, you will find me, if you seek me with all your heart. You see, the children of Israel, they were in a difficult spot. They'd been placed in exile. They felt separate from all that was good. And God was saying, no, I'm here. I know you're in challenge. Just search for me. You'll find me, right? Because wherever we are, God is. Wherever I am, God is. Would you say that with me? Wherever I am, God is. Okay, let's say it again like you believe it this time. Because it's true. Wherever I am, God is. And it is the truth. God is right with us all the time, in each and every moment. So David Owen Ritz said this very profound thought. He said, always remember that a greater idea always heals a lesser one. Remember that a greater idea always heals a lesser one. So when you create your big and glorious vision, and it should be big and glorious, it will begin to replace and dispel those thoughts of limitation that you've carried up until now. As you continue to focus on the vision, the others dissipate, or they disappear, they go away. So, how many of you in the room have a written visionary statement for your life, a description of how you'd like your life to be? Raise your hand. Oh, good. Oh, wow. Quite a few of you, actually. That's great. But the most of you in the room haven't actually written one down. And I understand about this because I talked about vision for years and never really wrote down a thorough vision statement. I'd write bits and pieces, but never really wrote one down. I have a full one now, and I'll tell you about that in a moment. David Owen Ritz gives us some suggestions about how it is that you can create the visionary statement for your life. He says there are two questions you want to ask about each area of your life. And my guess is you're probably going to want to take some notes here. So if there's a few pads in the pew racks, you can gather them, or just scribble in your bulletin. There's all manners of nooks and crannies in your bulletin today. And the two questions that he says to ask are, what does the abundant life look like for me? What does the abundant life look like for me? And what God qualities do I want to embody? What God qualities do I want to embody? What does the abundant life look for me, and what God qualities do I want to embody? And he says to do that in each of 5 areas of your life. We're going to talk about each one. The first being health. So, you take some time, and with prayer and discernment, you reflect upon what does health look like for you? What does abundance look like in the area of health for you? Does it look like being able to climb a particular mountain or hike for a mile or 2? Does it look like being able to ride your bicycle around Lake Tahoe? Does it look like being able to lift your grandchildren without straining your back? What does it look like for you, right? And then you ask yourself, so what God qualities do I want to embody to experience this abundant health? And what might that be? Maybe it's strength. Maybe it's deservedness. What God qualities? Abundant health and wholeness and vitality, right? But it's different for you than it is for you. It's different for me than it is for you. Each person has a different picture of what vibrant health looks like. And if you don't have a picture, here's the way a vision works. You may only be able to get a hold of 1 or 2 key words. It's okay. Write those down. Each time you come back to your vision, you'll add to it. Each time you come back to your vision, you'll be inspired to share more. Okay, so health was the first category. Now, the second category is finances. This is the area of material expression in your life. It's the area of money, of bank accounts, the area of your home, your car, the physical material world. And what does the abundant life look like? What does abundance look like for you in the area of finances? Is there a particular number that comes to mind that you want to have in your bank account? Does abundance look like for you that when you leave this earthly plane, that there are dollars that you leave to your children or to charitable organizations that you love? Does it look like having the money to travel the world? What does it look like? And don't be afraid to dream. Don't be afraid to put numbers if you'd like to. And then you ask, what are the God qualities that I will embody as I experience this abundance in my finances, in my material world? And God qualities might be things like joy, might be things like faith. You see, you allow yourself to just be in that and feel what it will feel like as you experience that abundance in your finances. And then David Owen Ritz suggests that we move into the area of relationships. And relationships, so this can be all your relationships with your children, with your other family members, with your siblings, relationships with your friends and your coworkers and your neighbors. What does abundance look like in the area of relationships for you? Does it mean that you have a hangout buddy that drops by for coffee? Does it mean that you have a life partner who's there when you come home at the end of the day? Does it mean the life partnership you have now is richer and maybe there's a specific kind of connection that you're seeking with your life partner? I'm asking you to open up the walls that you've placed around your life and to step through those walls and to vision. And then you ask, what are the God qualities that you need to express in order to experience this abundance in your relationships? And maybe those are things like honesty and authenticity, God qualities that are valuable for you. You see, I have a visionary statement for my life. And I haven't always had this, but I created this about a year ago and have been tweaking it ever since. And I will tell you that in my visionary statement, I even get very specific. Like with my siblings, I say that I will see them personally once every 18 months. Now, that may seem like a long time to go if, for you folks who have your family all right here in the area, but mine are spread out all over the country and actually outside the country. And because I established that intention, I've managed to accomplish that. I've seen all my siblings in the last year and a half, and now we're starting over again. I want to see them all. Of course, I've got a wedding coming up for my daughter this year. Most of them will be there, and that's a good thing. But my point is you can be as specific as you want to be as you set your visionary statement for your life. So relationships, then we move from relationships into career and creative self-expression, your work, how it is that you're making a difference in the world. This is your thumbprint on the world, right? This is how you're making a difference through your work, through your creative expression. What does abundance look like for you in your work? Maybe it's that you can see the very next level in your company and you vision receiving that promotion. I don't know what it might mean for you. Maybe it's that you vision the people whose lives you will be impacting as a result of your work or creative expression. And then again, you ask, what are the God qualities that I get to embody in order to make this happen? And maybe what it is that you want to embody is charisma or boldness. I don't know what it might be for you. Only you would know. And then we move from the area of relationships into the area, or that was career and creative self-expression. We move now into the area of personal and spiritual growth. This is your relationship with yourself and God. Personal and spiritual growth. Your relationship with yourself and God. So this is where you ask yourself, what's it going to look like when my spiritual practice is all that I want it to be? And I know you may be thinking, but Patricia, I want to meditate, but I can't sit still for even 5 minutes. Okay. But you know what? In your vision, you're visioning it how you'd like it to be. So you'd like it to be that you sit in a calm place of reflection, feeling God envelop you for 20 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever it might be. You put the words to it. You make the definition of what it is that you want your spiritual and personal growth to look like. In my particular visionary statement, I have quite a bit about what I'd like my spiritual life to look like. And these are some words, not that they need to be yours, but just to give you an example. I say I cherish my daily spiritual practice of rituals, meditation, reading, journaling, and prayer. My practice is an integrated part of my life, and I live at one with Spirit, easily and effortlessly guided. I go on and say, I'm grateful for the spiritual guides, mentors, and counselors which Spirit has called into my life to inspire me and call me higher. My life is enriched by their wisdom. You see, it goes on. There's more to it than that. But the point is, you've got to ask yourself, what does abundance look like for you in the area of your spiritual and your personal growth? Maybe your personal growth looks like being mentored by amazing people who are calling you higher, coaches and such. Maybe your personal growth looks like attending workshops and classes and truly standing in your power and your authenticity. When I think of vision, I think about the Olympics right now. I don't know if any of you are watching it, but gosh, think about how long these athletes have been holding to their vision. And visions will emerge and change as you stay with them. Each time you go back to your vision, you're likely to tweak it just a little bit more. So I think about some of the Olympic athletes, like Gabby Douglas, the 16-year-old gymnast who has been a gymnast since she was just a little thing. Her sister noticed she picked up cartwheels like that and said, there's something special about my sister. And so Gabby eventually was practicing 35 to 40 hours a week, her mother said, when Gabby as a teenager came to her mom and said, Mom, I want to study in Iowa, and I want to study with a particular coach and practice and train even more. And so it is that she left her home and went to live with a host family. And homesickness has plagued her over this last year that she's been away from her family. So much so that she even lost sight of her vision at one point and wanted to give it up. But her friends and family talked her into staying with it. And she's back on and focused. And an interviewer recently asked her, so can you, Gabby, envision yourself with a medal around your neck? And she said, yes, I can. And the interviewer said, and what color is that medal? And she said, it's gold. She's envisioning it. See, she's got her vision clear in her mind and in her heart. And then I think of Missy Franklin, the 17-year-old swimmer from Colorado, who's been swimming since she too was just a little thing. She says she feels like a dolphin in the water. This is just who she is. Isn't that a beautiful image? And it hit her when she was 13 that she might be able to go to the Olympics. Today she's 17. She had been at some swimming trials, and as she was driving home with her parents, she said she had this thought: if I put 110% effort into every practice for the next 4 years, I could have a shot at making the team in 2012. And she is, as she goes into these Olympics, she is one of the favorites in her field. So, if you'd like some help in creating your vision, I want you to know that we have planned a class for you tomorrow night. This class is all about creating your vision. And it's being taught by Tammy Rising at 7 o'clock Monday night. So that is there for you if you'd like to participate and really go intently into focusing upon your vision. And I want to give you an example of how it is that vision works. It's been over a year ago now that a few of us sat together in my office and began visioning for our Unity Garden. We wanted to find a way to help end hunger in Johnson County. And you've been hearing the stories about how it is that you folks are out at the gardens each week, helping to grow and harvest this wonderful food. And what I want you to know is that now we've given almost 1,000 pounds just this summer to the Head Start organization of Johnson County, to these children of families in need. They've received almost 1,000 pounds of food. And this is how vision happens. The vision that was in my head was that I wanted to make a difference in hunger. That's as specific as it was. And then we called in partners and other people. And the vision got more specific, and it got more specific. And now it is coming to fruition in amazing ways. That's how vision works. The other thing I want to say about your vision is that you need to go back to it often. You may leave here today with a few words, a few key words, maybe one idea. How exciting that will be. Write it down. Please write it down and go back to it once a day or once a week, whatever you're guided to do. Each time you go back to it, you're going to add to it. You will notice things you didn't notice before. And the other thing is, you'll start to notice when your vision is coming to pass. You'll notice things that were in your visionary statement that you didn't even realize were already happening in your life. It's the way the visioning process works. So we're going to take some time right now to vision. I'm going to invite you to just turn within if it's comfortable for you to close your eyes, but keep a pen handy in case you want to write something down. And as we begin this time together, we begin by realizing that this is an infinite moment. God is an infinite God. And we are infinite beings. And so I begin now to ask myself the question, what is the abundant life? What does it look like for me? What does abundance look like in the area of health? Knowing that health and wholeness are my divine inheritance. How does abundance express in my health? And what God qualities am I called upon to express, to embody? Qualities like vitality, deservedness. What does the abundant life look like for me? And I bring my attention now to my finances and the material aspects of my life. What does abundance look like in my material world? What do my bank accounts look like? What am I able to give and donate and share as a result of the financial prosperity in my life? And what divine qualities, God qualities, am I intending to embody and express? Abundance, generosity, altruism. The abundant life. And I reflect now upon my relationships, the holy and sacred school where I grow and stretch and love. What does abundance look like in my relationships? With my life partner, or the life partner I seek to have. With my children, my parents, my friends. And what God qualities am I expressing? Honesty, perhaps. Genuineness. Love. And I continue to listen and push past the resistance as I reflect upon my career and my creative self-expression. What does abundance look like in my work, my career, my creative self-expression? How am I leaving a fingerprint upon this world day in and day out? And what God qualities are mine to express? Perhaps strength and courage, perhaps kindness and compassion. The abundant life is mine. And I reflect now upon my personal and spiritual growth. What does abundance look like in my personal and spiritual life? My daily times with God, filled with inspiration and grounding. My personal love for myself greater than ever. And what God qualities am I to express in the area of spiritual and personal growth? God qualities like focus, reverence, self-love. Dear God, I commit to be open to hearing. And as I hear, to take action. And I align and attune in this moment to all those who are around me, knowing that we are all visioning together. We are co-creators together, this infinite world with an infinite God and infinite possibilities in our hearts. I know that all things are possible with God, and this is the truth. And wherever I am, God is. And I celebrate now my abundant life. And so it is, and so it is done. Amen. And so you've begun a process today. I invite you to continue it. You can continue it tomorrow night, You can come join our class, our Keys to the Kingdom class on Wednesday night. We're still taking enrollment through this Wednesday, and then we close the class after Wednesday. But you've begun the process. It's up to you now to continue this process and know that you have a resonant field of support here with everyone else who's on the path with you. Hundreds of people on this path together as we create our vision. I want to share with you just a few words from the closing of my own visionary statement. And I was guided to do this in the first service, so I feel led to do it again. And they're a little personal, but these are the closing sentences of my visionary statement. I live my life in a moment-to-moment awareness that everything is holy. At the end of each day, I lay my head on my pillow and snuggle up next to Brian, grateful for the blessings in my life and for having been an open vessel for God's love. I can't wait to see what miracles tomorrow holds. There's a saying, if you reach for the moon, you might touch the sky. And that's true. Think big. Reach for that moon. And it is equally and absolutely true that if you reach for the moon, you might just land on the moon. It's within your grasp. God bless you.